Good morning. Here is the news at 10. First, the highlights. Lagos State Government announces plans to host Investors Africa Social Impact Summit. President Tinubu advocates overhaul of global finance healthcare systems at BRICS Summit in Brazil. On the foreign scene, death toll in Texas floods climbs to more than 100. And in sport, Nigeria's Koinsola Ajayi breaks athletics meet record in France. Now the details. I am Dele Agadumo. Lagos State Government has announced plans to host the Lagos Investors Summit 2.0 and Africa Social Impact Summit 2025. Commissioner for Commerce, Cooperatives, Trade and Investment, Folashade Ambrose, who stated this during a press briefing at Alausa, Ikeja, said the two strategic investment summits are aimed at accelerating economic growth and sustainable development across the state and the African continent. Ambrose noted that the summit will bring together visionary investors, policy makers, industry leaders, development partners, and global stakeholders to explore bold solutions that will drive infrastructure expansion, unlock financing, deepen enterprise growth, and power digital innovation towards making Lagos a 21st century economy.
Lagos State is poised strategically at the nexus of opportunity and innovation. With these summits, we vividly showcase our commitment to sustainable growth, economic prosperity, and inclusive development. This is not merely a declaration, but an open invitation for active participation.
In her remarks, Special Advisor to the Governor on Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, Oroluwa Fini, emphasized the need for collaborations among government, private sector, and development partners, which affirm the Goal 17 of the SDGs, representing a bold step towards sustainable growth and long-term prosperity for Lagos and Africa at large. The state government's partner from the private sector, Chief Executive Officer, Sterling Foundation, Olapwiju Ibekwe, commended Lagos for being the best investments destination and innovation hub in Africa.
Seeks to attract impact investment into viable and scalable solutions on the continent of Africa. And finally, it seeks to advocate for the right policies to ensure the investments continue staying and growing on the continent. We are glad to confirm that this platform has so far unlocked over $100 million.
Ibekwe hinted that the previous summit had unlocked more than $100 million investment for the state to further accelerate the Sustainable Development Goal 17. In line with its mandate to ensure strict adherence to examination procedures and to curb malpractice, the Office of Education Quality Assurance, OEQA, has commenced the monitoring of the ongoing Basic Education Certificate Examination, BECE, across the state. Speaking during the monitoring visit to New Era Girls Junior High School, Surulere, the coordinating director of OEQA, Remy Abdul, reiterated the office's commitment to upholding examination integrity in both public and private schools below the tertiary level in Lagos State. According to him, the OEQA is statutorily empowered to ensure that all schools conform to established examination rules and regulation, thereby promoting a seamless and credible examination process. Abdul emphasized that the state government takes a firm stance against any form of examination malpractice, underscoring Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's vision of leaving no child behind in the quest to deliver equitable and high-quality education across the state. He pledged that the observations gathered during the monitoring exercise would be compiled into a comprehensive report and submitted to the Commissioner for Basic and Secondary Education, Jamiu Ali Balogun. The Lagos State Ministry of Housing has issued a warning to residents of state government-owned housing estates against contravening any well-known guidelines of the state government. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Abdulafiz Toriola, who issued the warning, solicited voluntary compliance with the guidelines to drive housing estates growth, emphasizing that compliance with existing rules is vital to enabling sustainable development and economic growth of the state. Toriola, who was represented by the Director Legal Services, Bukadi Idukoya, said it is the civic responsibility of the residents of state government-owned housing estates to comply with the existing guidelines written in their letter of allocation, memorandum of understanding, and deed of sublease. He noted that estate sustainability can be achieved through the involvement and implementation of state government policies, programs, and initiatives designed to deliver eco-friendly and sustainable homes for individuals within the state. Also, the assistant head of the Monitoring and Compliance Unit, Rashidat Ogulaja, highlighted some of the guidelines as repainting of external walls, defaulting on service charges, rebuilding and erection of illegal structures, conversion of residential homes to commercial purposes, environmental hazards, as well as subletting of home units. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, has issued a flood alert for the month of July, warning that states including Sokoto, Lagos, Edo, and Benue are at risk of experiencing flash floods. The flash flood risk alert released by the agency shows the states with varying probable risks of experiencing flash flooding events due to the onset of rainfall across the country. NIMET advised the residents of the state to relocate if necessary, clear drainage channels, prepare emergency kits, turn off electricity and gas during flooding, strengthen mudslide prevention, and promote community awareness. Now to the rest of the stories. President Bola Tinubu has made a strong case for the restructuring of global governance, finance, and healthcare systems. Speaking at the ongoing 17th BRICS Summit in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, Tinubu underscored the need for the international community to adopt a more inclusive and equitable framework that takes into account the realities of low-income and emerging economies, especially in Africa. He said the existing global institutions and economic architecture are outdated, disproportionate, and disadvantageous to nations in the global south. The president emphasized the urgent need to address pressing global issues such as environmental degradation, the climate crisis, and growing inequalities in healthcare, all of which, he said, continue to impede development and prosperity across Africa. He reiterated his administration's commitment to eliminate action, renewable energy, urban resilience, and universal health coverage, aligning with Nigeria's Vision 2050 and its nationally determined contributions under global climate agreements. Ekiti State Governor Biodun Oyebanji has sworn in Justice Lekan Ogumoye as the sixth substantive Chief Judge of the state, with a charge to uphold justice with courage, integrity, and a strong sense of duty. Justice Ogumoye, who had served as the acting Chief Judge since November 5, 2024, following the passing of his predecessor, Justice Oyewole Adeyeye, was formally ratified by the Ekiti State House of Assembly on July 3, 2025, following a recommendation by the Judiciary Council. Speaking while performing the swearing-in at the conference hall of the Governor's office in Ado-Ekiti, Governor Oyebanji, who described the judiciary as the last hope of the common man, affirmed that his administration would continue to support the judiciary by prioritizing the welfare of its members and giving the judge all the needed support to carry out his duties diligently. Acknowledging the long-standing reputation of excellence and dignity of the state judiciary and emphasizing the need to preserve this heritage, the governor urged the new Chief Justice to continually raise the bar and ensure prompt and efficient service delivery that meets global standards. Now to foreign news. The death toll from flash floods that struck central Texas on Friday has now climbed to more than 100 people, while an unknown number of others are missing. Search and rescue teams are wading through mud-piled riverbanks as more rain and thunderstorms threaten the region, with hope fading of finding any more survivors 4 days after the catastrophe. A Christian all-girls summer camp Mystic confirmed that at least 27 girls and staff were among the dead. At least 84 of the victims, 56 adults and 28 children, died in Kerr County, where the Guadalupe River was swollen by torrential downpour before daybreak on Friday, the 4th July public holiday. Meanwhile, the White House has rejected suggestions that budget cuts at the National Weather Service (NWS) could have inhibited the disaster response. Critics of the Donald Trump administration have sought to link the disaster to thousands of job cuts at the NWS parent agency, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Now, sports. Nigeria's Koinsola Ajayi's sensational form continued on Monday evening as he powered to a personal best equaling 9.92 seconds to win the men's 100 meters at the Meeting International Scottville-le-Rond in France. The 20-year-old surged from lane 5 at the Stade Jean Adret with a reaction time of 0.156 seconds to edge out a strong field that included 5 sub-10 second runners, winning by daylight and rewriting the meeting record previously held by Trinidad and Tobago's Kirsten Bledman since 2015. The race was Ajayi's first outing since finishing 4th at the NCAA Championships in Eugene last month, where he initially clocked 9.92 seconds for the first time in his career. That performance confirmed his arrival at the world-class level, but this follow-up in France affirmed his growing consistency and readiness for the global stage. Ajayi now holds 2 of the 5 fastest legal times in Nigerian sprint history, both at age 20, and has joined Davidson Ezenwa and Seun Ogunkoya with 4 career sub-10 seconds and second most by any Nigerian. And that ends our news at 10. Just before we go, stay alive, make use of pedestrian bridges where available. You can follow us on like all our various social media platforms: X at Traffic Radio 961, Facebook Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, Instagram Lagos Traffic Radio 961. Subscribe and watch news and programs live on YouTube at Traffic Radio 961. Visit our website on www.trafficradio961.ng. You can also listen to Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM live on My Lagos app for timely updates. Did you know that the Sanwo-Olu administration supported 3,673 businesses with 1.156 billion naira and a plethora of interventions including grants, mentorship, business advisory and capacity building, as well as market access opportunities? You can get more details on the Lagos State Government website. To end the news, are the highlights of the major stories. Lagos State Government has announced plans to host the Lagos Investors Summit 2.0 and Africa Social Impact Summit 2025. President Bola Tinubu has made a strong case for the restructuring of global governance, finance and healthcare systems. President Tinubu made the call at the ongoing 17th BRICS Summit in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. We also told you that the death toll from flash floods that struck central Texas on Friday has now climbed to more than 100 people, while an unknown number of others are missing. And in sport, Nigeria's Koinsola Ajayi's sensational form continued on Monday evening as he powered to a personal best equaling 9.92 seconds to win the men's 100 meters at the Meeting International Scottville-le-Rond in France. For contact with the newsroom, send a message to info@trafficradio961.ng. That is news broadcast compiled by Abiola Fagbolagun. I'm Dele Agadumo. Good morning. Thank you for listening.